Coach, a big win tonight. What'd you like most about the way your team got this one done?
I like the fact that we didn't let up, There was no slip-ups. Kind of played them even, but we didn't have any mental lapses. There was no immaturity out there when it came to screwing around with the game when we had it right where we wanted it, which we've been prone to do. So that was good. The guys were, again, locked in. Defense was, outstanding. That was probably it.
Another big night for Rudy on both ends. What kind
Yeah.
of value does he add night in and night out for you so far?
Well, it's back-to-back plus 24s, when he's out there. It's just, they went. There was one little part of the game when he was out in the third, and we just put him back in, and then kind of just, hit enough of a little burst with him out there. He's playing again, doing everything. He's doing everything offensively and defensively. He's creating a ton of great offense for us, just with his spacing, his screening, and his rolling.
Chris, were you actively talking to the guys about not letting up and things? Is that in the back of their mind already?
Yeah,
given
we have a case study on what happens, in Atlanta. So we will reference that. We certainly reference it at halftime. We wanted to win a lot of 3-minute bursts out there, so give them something to focus on. But the guys are aware, that they're talking about it amongst themselves. So
it's kind of nice to see Cat and Shake both knock down a few shots and maybe start to get a little bit of a rhythm that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Cat got it going from 3. That was awesome. Shake played really aggressive. Things that we knew it was coming. So hopefully now we got to keep doing it. Big night for both those guys, and just got to keep Cat out of foul trouble, and so he doesn't interrupt his own rhythm. But other than that, we got good contributions from everyone tonight.
Chris, you guys haven't been a big taking three-pointers team bunch in the first half tonight. When you are taking and making them, what do you see that open up for the offense?
Yeah, I thought we really did a good job of making the early pass to the open shooter. We generated a lot of looks. We kind of had a feeling where we knew where they were going to come from. Sometimes you fight the game, but we didn't. We took what the game gave us. Then it opened up a lot of, kind of just space in general. I thought just our awareness of what the defense was doing was high, and the ability to make the right play. I mean, we had, and I think had 8 assists at half or something. Nikhil Finch with a bunch.
Do you see Ant's vision kind of slowly expanding? It just seems like he's getting more and more comfortable with the skip passes and everything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think he's way more aware, when he sees certain defenses and what that defense is going to kind of give him. I think that's just part of the maturity of playing against enough different types of defenses and trusting your teammates to make the pass. So.
To Jace's point, you guys finished with 30 assists tonight, and you guys run a lot of horns actions and high splits to start off some sets early on in possessions. Yeah. What do you think about kind of what those looks are generating for you guys, and then how are the guards reading those looks?
Well, yeah, I think we had 21 at halftime, so we only had 9 in the second half. I thought we missed some good looks in the second half, but we talked in the beginning of the season about having more structure around the bigs, and simple things to help our spacing. And the horns and the bigs up, something that's easy and simple for us to flow into. And again, it puts a lot of pressure when you got one really dynamic roller and one really dynamic spacing big, and that's often going to be the centerpiece of our spacing issues is really around that. So the guys are doing a really good job of kind of mixing that in at the right times.
Was it kind of your intention tonight to get Carl going early after the night he had? Was that kind of the plan coming in?
Yeah, I did, and it resulted in a couple offensive fouls right out of the gate. So he decided to move himself behind the three-point line and got himself going. So,
speaking of those offensive fouls, the hook on the drives has become a thing over the last couple of games here. How do you communicate that to him that this is maybe something he needs to correct?
I mean, listen, they're fouls. You can't offensively advantage yourself by a hook. But what I'm curious to see, and when I look at all these things, is like, what is the level of contact on the drive before the hook? And I think that's something that we have to, fight for him for, because if that's a guard driving, a lot of times that type of contact is called a foul. But if it's a big driving, a lot of times they allow a lot more contact to go. So, but yeah, I mean, certainly they're oftentimes fouls and unnecessary, but there is a lot of contact leading up to them. So,
Chris, what has Mike Conley given you relative to what you really expected when you got him here?
Well, I mean, if you heard the reports about Mike Conley before he came, you thought he was broken down and had to be kind of wrapped in bubble plastic every day, but it's certainly not been the case. He's given us everything and more. I think he's exceeded our expectations by a long mile, on and off the floor. I mean, his off court and his leadership reputation is impeccable, sorely needed for us. And he's really just kind of the big brother for the whole team, and on the floor he knows when to step up and make timely baskets, when to take control of the ball in the offense, communicates defensively at a high level. So, yeah, he's been way more than we thought. And I joke, but I knew we were getting a good player. But he has a lot left in the tank, I can tell you that. So,
given J-Mac's injury and not a sure, point guard necessarily units, are you thinking differently about Kyle in terms of just needing to, knowing you need him to settle down that second unit more now? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle's just really good with the ball in his hands. I mean, he's a point guard. He's a point guard. He thinks the game like a point guard. He grew up playing point guard. And, for him to be the best version of himself, you got to have the ball in his hands. And that's where we love it. And he creates a lot of great offense. So, as it relates to our point guard situation, he's a natural option. Nikhil's been really good there too. I think one thing we're learning is I think Shake's probably a little better off the ball and getting him involved in stuff off the ball, where he can really trigger his aggressiveness. And Nikhil's been really good, like in running our stuff out there, and in a different way that Mike does, and in a different way that Kyle does. So I like that. We have like 3 different guards who kind of all lean into different parts of our offense. So,
is the perfect complement to Kyle when he is the point guard somebody who's got a good handle that can bring it up and then has a pretty good sense of how to move off the ball then?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in our offense, like, we don't really care too much who brings it up. We like to get it up and then get into some simple stuff. But, yeah, that also saves Kyle from having to work 94 feet with the ball all the time. And, because he's also putting in a heck of an effort at the other end of the floor. And so that's a good point. Thank you.